Welcome to the Austin All Day Podcast. I am Jason Powers, and this is episode 13. I am here with Chef John Smith of Hillside Farmacy. Chef John brought his very first batch of mead, and it was delicious. You guys sit back, grab a drink, and check it out. Chef John Smith.
How's it going?
Good. Hillside Farmacy.
Yep.
How's it going with you?
Good.
You said you're tired?
Busy, yeah. We're always busy.
Yeah?
It's the time,
Yeah. Hillside Farmacy and side project is this mead. This is new for you, right?
It is. It's like started right around the first of the year.
Cool.
I read about it for a couple of months before that. About a month before.
Yeah.
I really bought the stuff and started putting my first batch together, which that's what this is. It's the first batch.
Nice. And we're going to taste this here this morning.
Yep.
You said that, or did you listen to any of the previous podcasts?
I've listened to probably the first 8.
Okay, so Joseph Sukentra,
Mm-hmm.
he was into the mead, which it's all foreign to me. So I'm very interested.
Dude, it is to me too.
Yeah.
I've tasted it one time before I started making it. The idea was to just do some fermenting that wasn't vegetables and sriracha and stuff like that. And so I started reading about wines, and wine grapes are kind of hard to come by, and
Sure.
so without buying a kit, and so I started looking at fruit wines, but it was January and there was no local fruit,
Right.
and so I settled on I got a guy that John Swan with Wicked Bee Honey, who does all of our honey. He gave me a deal on a half gallon of honey, and I made my first kind of round of mead right around the end of January.
Nice. So the short and sweet Idiot's 101 to mead, even though it's newer for you, it's the base is honey.
Yeah.
It becomes basically like a wine.
These are just honey, water, and yeast.
Okay. No lemon. You were talking about Meyer lemons?
Not in this one. That's the one that I have at my house right now. It's in a 5-gallon. That's my first 5-gallon batch.
Okay.
It's a Meyer lemon, and it's a 12%. We were talking. This is 14.
Cool.
It's a 12% because I don't really dig the alcohol flavor that much.
Okay. Because it can be overpowering, or what?
Because I guess I just like the aftertaste, and whenever we taste this, you'll kind of taste it. The aftertaste on this and on most of the meads that I've tasted is kind of like that. It's almost like taking a shot watered down.
Yeah.
So whenever you breathe out, you get that cooling alcohol feel to it.
Okay.
And I just don't really dig that much.
Right. So is this something you think might be able to be incorporated somewhere in Hillside Farmacy in the future?
Yeah, there's all kinds of licensing and stuff like that you have to do.
All right.
It would be something I would be cool to look into.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I've been doing vinegar, homebrewing fruit wines and meads, and doing really just right out of the fermenter and adding mothers, and making the vinegar, and we've been using some of that and selling it in bottles. I have a bottle of apple wine vinegar that's it's like apple cider, but it doesn't have the mulling spice in it.
Okay.
So it's just like a really nice, clean, crisp apple flavor with that acidity from vinegar.
So that's pretty healthy too, right? Does it have retained the same kind of health benefits as this apple cider vinegar?
I don't know how much of that healthy part.
Yeah.
I haven't read much about it. Comes from the spices.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know.
Or it's from the apples themselves.
Yeah.
But this is just super clean. It would be great in a salad dressing or something like that.
Cool. Definitely like a vinaigrette.
Yeah.
Cool. So how's the Hillside Farmacy?
It's good.
You've been over there for how long?
4.5 years.
Okay, a good while.
Yeah, August of 2014.
How long have they been there?
7. We just hit 7 this last South by.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
So that's going well, though?
Yeah, it's going good. We're getting ready for a menu change. I'm actually about a week behind on it. I'm trying to knock out the last of it this coming next few days.
Yeah.
So we can get it turned over. But it's just been really busy, and anybody that's listening that's in the business knows how short-handed everybody is.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing my title's chef de cuisine, but I do like a lot of paperwork
Sure.
stuff, and so menu development and a lot of the paperwork stuff's kind of been on the back burner. I've been on the line 5 out of the 6 days that I've been working and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that stuff just stacks up then,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
No, it's still there.
Yeah.
And so now I'm trying to finish out this menu and then also keep the restaurant going. And I have some pretty good help in that too. So
Nice. What? How frequent is the menu flip? Out of curiosity.
we usually do it about like 3 times a year.
Okay, that's pretty frequent.
Yeah.
Is it like a complete overhaul, or do you certain things?
It's
get
like
staples.
It seems to be getting less and less. The more that we find items that we like or that the guests like,
Yeah.
I see them like staying on the menu a little bit longer.
Sure.
Our Niçoise salad was an entree that we put on this time last year,
Okay.
and then we pared it down a little bit and moved it to the salad part of the menu and just kept it on. The chicken has stayed pretty much the same. The vegetables in it, of course, have kind of changed a little bit. So there are like little adjustments for seasonality, but for the most part, they're all the same dish. Or not all, but they'll stay the same dish after we kind of like really figure out what we want to do.
Like an evolution.
Yeah,
so to
yeah,
speak.
and because I mean we're open. I have my first guy walks in the door and turns off the alarm at 7 a.m. and the last one leaves somewhere between 11:30 and 12:30.
Right.
And so it's a big 7 days a week. You know, it's a big undertaking to keep it afloat. So menu changes are not really that doable
Yeah.
in that kind of atmosphere without, you know, a team of people kind of working on it.
Sure. So you guys are currently looking for people. That sounds like
Always
looking for people
Yeah.
currently.
There's been a few times in the last probably 2 years that I've been in a comfortable spot where we had like all the staff and everybody was kind of up to the level and that I needed them to be at the time.
Right.
And I would find myself like trying to find things to do.
Oh, not a bad place to be.
Not a bad place to be at
Right.
all. And that's kind of just how it's been the last couple of years. Is you get into that spot and you spend a month or two there, and then you work to get back into that spot again.
Yeah.
You know?
Kind of unravels a little bit here and there.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, we get through this month and about the first week of June, and things will kind of slow down a little bit. And
Slump.
and
summer.
yeah, and hopefully we can keep some pretty good business going at the same time.
Yeah.
But it'll chill out a little bit, and we can kind of reset. That's what I'm hoping, right? We can kind of reset and
Yeah.
go, okay, we have this new menu. Let's work on perfecting, you know, what we're doing now, and finish out the summer, and
Sure.
and kind of work towards getting back to that good spot, you know.
Yeah, you guys have a really nice, unique atmosphere there. Like many places on the east side,
Yeah.
they're all kind of got their own little thing going on. And I'm curious, I think you may be the only guy I've had in here, chef, who's on the east side.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, Contigo Catering is like off on the east side, but that's not
Right,
doesn't
yeah,
qualify. I'm just curious. In the last 4.5 years, even, what kind of changes have you seen? Because east side is, in my opinion, if I want to go somewhere to eat and really enjoy myself, that just go over there.
Yeah. It's been a lot. I've actually been at Hillside since 2012, since they opened. Well, they opened in early March, and I started in mid-June.
Okay.
And worked there for a year, and then worked for Eden East,
Okay.
the Sonia's restaurant that was out on Springdale Farm when it was Springdale Farm, and did sous chef for a year there, and then came back to Hillside. So from 2012 to now, it's insane. It's changed so much.
Yeah.
And there's been several new restaurants, and they're redeveloping the 7th Street HEB right now. They're remodeling the whole thing, and it's just like come up. And I'm not one to say whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
right. Well, it's got to draw in some business, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in that respect, it's a good thing.
And on the good side, I mean, we just got to notice too the neighborhood behind us. We're like right on the borderline, where there's a Catholic church there, and that neighborhood.
You guys are 11th? Is
11th, yeah.
And what's
the cross street, well, it's where 11th and Rosewood split.
Right.
And then the next cross street over is Navasota, I think.
What's right across from me? That Quickie Picky?
Quickie Picky.
Okay.
We got Quickie Picky kind of to the left and Rosewood to the right.
Okay.
But that whole neighborhood behind Hillside has become a historic district.
Oh, cool.
So there won't be any, as far as I can tell, there won't be any like big developments back there.
Great news.
So it's rad. Yeah.
Yeah. Because right down, I know there's a 365 store going up not far from you.
Oh, yeah.
And when all that is actually developed, I'm genuinely curious what that part of town is going to be like.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm anticipating the 365. I have no need for it out here in South Austin. I'm just curious what that's going to bring to that area.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting to watch. When I met my wife, met my wife in 2010, late 2010, 2011, early 2011.
Okay. Right before Hillside.
And she lived on Angelina Street, which is a block down from Hillside.
Okay.
And so I would go over there, and it was a very dark, there like literally dark. The street lights would be out. And like it was a really dark, kind of weird neighborhood, man.
Yeah.
And in the last 6-7 years, it's just exploded
into more of like almost a mainstream.
Yeah, dude. Like I walk to work. I ride the bus a lot because we share the car.
Yeah.
And like I walk to work, and I walk by, from all the way 35 all the way down to Hillside, just that couple 2-3 blocks.
Sure.
And I look at it every day, and I'm like, man, that didn't used to be here. That didn't used to be here.
Right.
Only thing that was ever there whenever Hillside opened was the Wells Fargo and Blue Dahlia.
What about Franklin's? How long has that been?
Franklin's
That's
been there. Yeah,
too?
that's been there
so
for a
you see
while.
that? You always see the line when you
Oh,
go.
yeah. Yeah.
It always blows my mind.
It smells delicious every time I walk by there.
Yeah.
It could be 5 a.m, and I'll be cruising by there, and I'll be like, oh, man, that smells nice.
That's I love the smell of barbecue in the morning for some reason. I don't know that I'd entertain actually eating it that early. I probably would.
I don't have the time.
I've
Maybe that's
never
just
actually
me,
eaten at Franklin's.
Yeah. I've tasted.
Yeah.
Somebody brought some, to one of the restaurants one time, and I tasted it, and it's fantastic.
Event.
It's good.
You go there, and there's always a line of people.
It's like a planned thing. You have to plan it out.
Well, not only plan it out, you got to be prepared to just sit around for a few hours.
Yeah. You got to get somebody to watch the kids or bring them with you and have them entertained for however long, and just like I can't do that.
No. I know that, I don't know if you've heard in any of these where Valentina's has come up.
Oh, yeah.
I finally ate there.
Yeah.
But it's the same sort of thing where there's always a line.
Yeah.
But I started my daughter's in karate. It's literally next door.
Oh, nice.
Right at 4 p.m. and there's no line. So I don't know if I'm giving away a secret there, but like I walk right up. So I've eaten there 3 times now.
Nice.
Within like a month. So
yeah.
It's actually very good, but it's not like Franklin's. Franklin is a certain time you can eat there. You wait in line, and then they run out of stuff.
Right.
That's done. That's not the case over there. I think they're pretty steady.
Well, then there's who's come up quite a bit lately. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Who's come up quite a bit lately is Micklethwaite down right down the street on Rosewood in that little trailer park.
Who did I bring this up to? I brought this up to Chef Phil, and he hadn't heard of it. Do you know anything about? They're by the East Side Pies and all that.
Yeah.
stuff?
So there's
expanding as well.
There's that like little trailer park that you cruise by between. I don't know what it is now. It used to be a haircutting, there's a little house,
right?
And there was a salon there at one point. And then there's kind of a vacant lot that has trailers in it, and I haven't been there for a while.
But they're getting attention over there.
But he's done. I've heard, of course, being down the street, I've heard a lot about what he was doing, and I went down and had it a couple of times a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's really good. He does pretty good work.
Yeah, I see it's popular because I went over there just to stop in, and it was, whenever there's a big crowd, I'm typically like, nope, not today.
Yeah.
But that's what it was.
Yeah.
So there's a big old crowd over there. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's starting to gain that kind of.
Well, good.
That kind of Franklin's, and like I said, it's been happening over the past probably 3 years that I've just kind of been noticing and hearing about it. And
so he's been there.
He's been there. He's been there since. I mean, I can't say for definitely, but when I was at Eden, so he's been there since I've been at Hillside. So he's been there for at least 4 years.
It's funny we see this resurgence of like the old school like butchery coming.
I love it, man.
It's cool.
I think it's rad,
especially because it's got a cool aesthetic to it. I mean,
I would probably get out more and get my kids out more if I had to go to 3 or 4 different places to grocery shop.
Yeah,
and get into like more rad things, but like going to HEB and getting everything in one spot it's kind of what you have to do.
Yeah.
If I was on the east side, I'd I live up north. I live on North Lamar, almost to Pflugerville.
Oh wow.
So if there was a butcher shop, if there is, somebody let me know. If there was a butcher shop up there, I would go. If there was a bakery up there, I'd go.
Yeah.
And we'd just hit the rounds.
Yeah, we might end up seeing it soon.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so.
Yeah. So is that by Central Market at all, where you're at?
No,
You're even further.
Way north.
Oh, really?
I'm up past Rumburg, and I'm on Lamar and Palmer.
Okay, cool. Oh, that's up there.
Yeah.
What's out there? Anything?
Nah, not a whole lot. There's so on North Lamar, there's the Chinatown Square with MT Supermarket. There's a lot of Chinese stuff going on up there, which is really cool.
Yeah,
because I dig that.
How old are your kids? Sorry,
I got a 5-year-old boy and a 3-year-old boy.
Okay.
Yeah, they're starting to team up on me, and it's getting weird.
Hey.
And so I've like started getting them into they're real. Of course, they're real picky eaters, being children. And mom's a chef, dad's a chef.
So mom is in the industry.
Yeah, she's actually my sous chef at night.
Oh,
at
really?
Hillside, yeah.
That balances out okay?
Yeah, I mean, we met working together, and we worked together well then, and we worked, here and there together, and I was in pretty bad need of a sous chef, and our older boy was about 1.5, and she kind of got ready to work, and so I just kind of put her on the line part-time.
Sure.
And we had the second one, and after we had the second one, she just kind of took over. I just kind of handed her bits and pieces of it until she really just ended up being sous chef. And
right.
so we just made it that.
That's cool. And that's interesting. I didn't know she could have come here. I mean, that'd have been an interesting conversation.
Yeah, maybe have her on later. And then
absolutely, I'm up for that. I had a guy recently from Bar Peach, and his fiance. I kept saying his wife. It's not his wife yet, but she works at Colleen's Kitchen. And when he opened, Bar Peach is pretty new. Yeah, and they're a lot younger, 26 or something. Yeah, maybe even younger. I don't know. But he was hesitant about the like getting them in the same kitchen. I think it had something to do with her working under him, and he thought it might create a weird dynamic. And I think it's interesting that you guys work together. Are you guys working together a lot or cross paths?
No, we pretty much cross paths.
So it's because my point with him was, as sad as it is to say that you're like away from your family for 8 hours a day or however long, and you're with another family, so to speak, and that kind of makes everything tolerable. And if everyone was always together, you might be at each other's throats. Yeah. And now I'm sure that there's plenty of people who can work together and have beautiful, and I might be the negative Nancy over here saying that, but you guys cross paths. So.
I think though she's been in the industry. She's a couple of years older than me, and she's been in the industry longer than I have, in the kitchen at least.
Yeah.
Especially, because I served tables for a while.
Sure.
Before I started in the kitchen, and I think she gets it. Like once you go into that door, dynamics changes, personality changes, and things are just different. There,
Yeah.
I think if anybody has a hard time turning it off, it's me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I want to come home and fucking bark. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And be like, no, you need to do this, and you need to. And I'm like, I'm not the boss. I gotta take a step. And she's a lot better at that than I am.
We had I keep referencing, but it's all tying together. So Michael Wake, he was from Funkadelic, and his daughter is the Expo.
Oh right.
And she's young. I went in there and I ate there and I met him and I met her and I told her, your father's awesome. She's like, I know he's excellent. But he said that they get all their screaming out at work.
Yeah.
And then they go home and they kind of. So you guys cross paths though.
We cross paths. It makes it really nice. Like I always know what's going on at the restaurant. You know what I'm saying?
That is cool. Because you're typically there in the AM, or
I'm usually there. I fluctuate. I do 2 nights in 3 days mostly.
Okay. All right.
Or I'll do 2 nights and a couple of mid shifts or something like that. But she's there pretty much 5 days a week. She'll come down with the car and the kids, and we'll all kind of hang out, and she and I can talk, and this is what happened, this is what prep got done, and this is what you need to do tonight, and we've got this reservation and that going on.
Right.
And then I'll take the kids and we'll go home, or we'll go to a restaurant or a park or something like that for a couple of,
Sure.
in the 4 or 5 o'clock afternoon, hang out, and then come pick her back up, or she'll Uber home or something like that.
Right. So you said the kids are kind of picky with the eating, but with mom and dad both being chefs, are they like taking any interest? I mean, probably the older one, maybe not so much the 3-year-old yet.
They like to cook. My older one actually helps with the.
You want to
mead.
open these?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He helps with the mead project.
Sure.
But he, of course, is not going to drink it. But
Right,
he won't taste the must, like the just the water and.
Yeah,
and
he won't.
He won't.
Right.
No. And like.
But what about when you're are you cooking at home frequently, or do you get it
somewhat,
out in the kitchen?
somewhat frequently.
Yeah.
I cook for them a lot.
Okay.
I kind of always have.
When are
like
some
one time a day.
Like you got a 3 and 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Somebody who's got a 3 and 5-year-old. What's some go-tos that are?
Oh, chicken fingers and French fries and mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
I get them.
Right. We're all on the same page then.
Yeah, for sure, man. And that's all they want to eat.
Yeah.
A pizza.
I had
and stuff like that.
A little. We started making French toast.
Yeah.
And she would want it in the morning, and then
Uh-huh.
she would want it for dinner, and I was like, man, and I would do it, and for a while there, and then I was like, is this okay? It's like whatever.
It's whatever. We have pancakes. I like pancakes and waffles. I just now got them on French toast because we serve it at the restaurant.
Okay.
And I took them to the restaurant with me one morning, and
They dug it.
I don't remember. It was like my day off, and I had to just go stop by there for some reason, and they said that they were hungry, so we got a French toast and they ate it, and they really dug it. So we started doing that at home too.
Cool.
They like breakfast foods. They like eggs and waffles.
So are
and
they
bacon
helping to find anybody? Do they like getting involved, or no?
The 5-year-old does.
Yeah.
And he has since he was really about 3. And Max is starting, the younger one. He's starting to get a little more involved. He'll pull up a chair and climb up there and watch. And I'll have to be like, don't touch that. It's hot. Don't touch that. It's sharp.
Right.
But I did an event at the Urban Farm Tour. Okay. And a girl that doesn't work at Hillside anymore, but did, that I've known for a long time, she was like, it was really funny because I was there, just me and her, and we were doing our thing. And then Sarah had to go to work, so she brought the kids over.
Sure. Just
for like the last hour or so. And I was like, all right, fellas. And I'm very much like a drill sergeant type dad. I'm fun and stuff, but like I set rules and those are rules, right? And so I was like, all right, fellas, you could stay right here under the tent, do whatever you want, just don't knock anybody over or be jerks. And they were like, all right. And they sat there and played, but I had one eye on the cutting board and one eye just going like this, watching them.
Right.
And she was like, it was very apparent, like, how much you changed whenever the kids came and you were, like, went from kind of chilling and having a good time and doing this to, like, all business, cut this. Yeah, that's what that is. And there goes that one, okay. You know, and it just got, like, 10 times busier in my brain with them there. But yeah, like, they like to hang out in the kitchen. They like to cook. They like to cook. They don't like to eat it. Like when I make dinner for just me and Sarah, or you know, they'll want. I'll make dinner sometimes.
They like the act of
for me, and then I'll save some for her when she gets home.
Yeah. They want
to. They
help
like
you
to do
out.
it. Yeah. But
Like,
then I'll go. Okay, you want to taste it? No.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know that's okay. That's very common.
I'm sure they'll come around. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, of course. Show more interest, especially with mom and dad both being chefs, and you've got. I guess that could go either way. Some kids kind of steer off in the other direction and say, "My folks were always doing this. I want to do something else."
I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't wish the industry on your children.
You know, it's. I don't want to. It almost sounds insulting, but I don't mean it that way. Being a chef's kind of like being a teacher.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get paid shit. You got to do it just because you want to do it. Because you that's what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I could.
And if that's what they want to do, awesome. Like no doubt.
Yeah.
But hopefully, and my dad told me this when I got out of high school. Hopefully, they want to, maybe go to school and do something, better than what I did, or for themselves.
Be careful. They'll both end up being teachers.
I'm fine with it. I'm good with it. They can be chefs too. That's fine.
Yeah. No. Well, there should be. Well, who knows? We have a different generation of people coming up, and maybe rate of pay, all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing it now. That's awesome, dude. And I'm all for it. I've led the charge at Hillside for that, and in the last 3 years, we've gone from paying cooks $11 an hour to much more than that.
Nice.
That's our dishwashers making, 11, 12, 13. So our cooks are well above that.
Speaking of your dishwasher, I know one.
Luke?
The shorter guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Old dude, right?
Yeah. And we've talked about dishwashers in here for a minute.
Yeah.
They kind of get looked over a little bit, but when they're not there, the kitchen falls apart and it's calamity.
Yeah.
And then they're also like the most awesome people.
Yeah.
And he's cool. Every time I see him, he's like, "Here's my machete."
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, he does a lot of like maintenance stuff around. He'll come in early and do a bunch of maintenance stuff and yard work type stuff. And he's a super cool dude.
Yeah. He's an old timer.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
He just turned 69.
Wow, and he's still trucking, just going.
I mean, he has his moments.
I'm sure.
We have to give him a little time. He calls in a little bit, but I mean, what are you gonna fucking do, man?
I'll tell you, for 69, he looks good.
He looks great.
He does,
and
look good.
he parties like a rock star.
Maybe that's why.
I don't know, man. Yeah.
It's like Keith Richards.
Yeah.
Right? Something's working, so just go with it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, cooking at home you do. I mean, chicken fingers, all that stuff. Do you get stuck eating that stuff too?
Sometimes.
Or will you?
Sometimes. I usually, dude, like I formed some really bad habits when I first started in the industry. Of course, you don't get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You don't get lunch at noon, and So I would close my my serving shift. I would close, which is 3 or 4 o'clock, and then I would eat the shift meal.
Yeah.
And then, what am I gonna eat? You know what I'm saying? And so I just got into this habit like 20 years ago of just hanging out and eating that 4 o'clock meal, and that's it.
Oh yeah, just like once.
So that's why I don't make dinner and say you have to sit there and eat your peas or whatever, or eat this and go hungry until tomorrow.
Right.
Like, which is something I would totally do if I had a 9-to-5 job. But it's just like, yo, what do you want?
Yeah.
Because I'm probably not, and I'll eat like a chicken finger or two or make just a little bit extra for myself. But for the most part, I'm not trying to eat a meal at 7 o'clock when I ate at 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I ate at the restaurant. You know.
That I'm sure there's a lot of people. That's an interesting point that I might bring up here and there. People probably develop horrible habits eating.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I know that guys have been grateful when their chef pulls them aside and says, "Have you eaten?" "No, I haven't." "Here, then go eat."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm even the same way, and I have the ability to. But I always skip breakfast.
Yeah.
I typically feel like I eat when I get home and just eat like that's the time.
Yeah, I don't eat a lot at night. Like on my days off, I'll make breakfast and I'll eat some of it most of the time.
Right.
And then I'll have like a pretty good sized lunch, and then after that, I might have a light snack, but that's about it.
Sure.
But that's how you stay. That's so trim like this.
Well, when you're eating like that, yeah. But I was actually going to ask, you're cooking at home, but I wanted to know, you said you bring the kids out to eat. Let's say, forget the children, you personally, some like suggestions for good places to eat. Doesn't have to be on the east side.
I mean, I haven't really been out since 2012. But one of my all-time favorites, and somebody mentioned it on here, is Shenu.
Yeah.
That's always been a really good, spot. Evangeline, the Cajun place down.
Okay.
I think it's on William Cannon.
Was that brought up here too?
It was.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Jeff Beach, possibly.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
And then just about honestly, throw a stone and any Chinese food place up north is.
What about the up north? Okay.
Yeah. Any of those, like in the little Chinatown Center or on 183, because it kind of it's all like in that little Chinatown area on Breaker or just off of Breaker and Lamar.
Right.
And it all kind of peppers out from there, and all of those places are really good. Vietnamese, Chinese. Places are really good. Korean places over there.
Right across Kitty Court from you, that Old Thousands opened.
Yeah.
A year or two ago. I don't know how long ago.
Yeah,
but have you been over there?
I went over there when they first opened. One of our line cooks when I was at Eden, a kid that was coming out of culinary school, came and worked for us, and he was a good dude. Wanted to really a real go getter and wanted to learn, and had a really great work ethic. He ended up, I think it was a year and a half later, he opened that as a sous chef. Taylor Bird, yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know what he's up to now, but
he's not still there. You don't know?
I know he's not still there.
Okay.
Last I heard, he was opening a place in Round Rock, like a local spot up in Round Rock. But he was opening sous chef there, I think it was. And so we popped down there and tried to say hi to him, but of course it was their first month open and they were just jamming.
Yeah, cool wallpaper.
Yeah, it's a really rad spot.
It is.
But like I haven't gotten down there.
Yeah, I stopped in there, and I never eat when I go out.
Yeah.
And really, these podcasts have made me start to stop places.
Yeah.
Just because people will say something and I'll see something. But I stopped in there because at one time they were open for lunch. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. And then I stopped, and he said it just, they weren't. The lunch thing didn't work out, and he was happy about it, just because.
Yeah, I don't blame him, man.
Yeah, no, of course you'd be happy. Not for the business, but like nobody. If you can have the ability to just do dinner.
Look, if you can make it doing just dinner and lunch isn't going to be a thing, do it, man. I'm all for it.
So we just tried this mead. This is good.
It's nice. It ended up coming out with a lot of the floral honey notes. Really came out nicely in it.
Tell me more about that honey real quick. Because that's real. I can't taste any alcohol, really.
No.
I guess I can actually, now I feel it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feels good.
I don't know a ton about it. He actually has a podcast as well. It's called Hive Jive.
Hive Jive. And he's here in Austin.
Yeah. yeah.
Okay, Hive Jive. Cool.
He was actually like a commercial finance guy for one of the banks, Wells Fargo or Chase or one of those.
Oh, well, I
And-
listened to his podcast today on the way to San Antonio.
And he tells that like in the first episode, like what that was like, and going from how he fell in love doing what he was doing. It's a kind of an introductory.
Excellent.
And really rad guy. He was a friend of one of our GMs when I first opened, and like his first 5 hives, when he started kind of producing a little bit, we started buying, and now he's up to something like 50.
Wow.
And he's
That's
not
insane.
banking anymore. He's doing honey full time.
Cool. Well, especially if he's passionate about it, that's
Yeah.
no greater story than that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And it's like,
Again,
it's super cool to have met him when he first started doing that, and then
be a
now,
supporting role in it.
And I can't speak to his success, but it seems like he's doing really well with it. He's really happy doing it.
Yeah, that's key.
And he's a guy that if you get him started on it, he'll tell you everything about it. Like if anybody needed to start a podcast about something like that, that's the dude, because he has read obsessively, worked obsessively on just that.
Yeah.
And it's really rad.
Interesting. He could hop on here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing his own. But,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that is. So, what is his podcast about?
It's
Is it just him, or is he bringing him on?
it's him and a co-host. I don't recall the name of the co-host, but
this honey is delicious.
yeah, and actually this doesn't have any sugar. This is a dry white, so
It's very good.
it's like the other parts of the honey that are kind of simulating sweetness.
Yeah.
This was a winter honey, so it was really dark amber when it started too, and it's white wine, crystal clear,
Yeah.
but it has like a lot of those floral notes and a lot of almost like the beeswax kind of feel, and yeah, this is my first, like I said, this is my first gallon, and this is only I tasted it like I said, I tasted a bottle of it last night, and was like, okay, it's acceptable enough we'll bring it out and taste it, but.
Yeah. So over time, this bottle up here, what's I know this is your first go around, but what is supposed to happen as it ages?
Allegedly, the wininess and the alcohol will mellow out, and the florals and the honey flavor will come step forward.
This is honestly pretty mellow to me. Is it to you?
It is, yeah. I mean,
in a good way.
I taste it and of course get like really analytical about it. Right?
Yeah.
And then I do the same with the food and all that. Right. So,
especially you made it. I mean,
yeah. So it's like I'm not just a nice, warm weather drink. I'm not just sitting out on the porch in warm weather drinking a glass of mead. I'm like tasting it and mulling it over and like knowing all the steps that I took to get it from point A to point B. I could have done this maybe a little bit different, or maybe if I should have added that.
And what
at
are
that
your
time.
thoughts with this? I mean, obviously, anyone listening in can't taste this, but me never having even tasted mead, it's got a beautiful honey taste, and I mean, like a little alcoholic burn.
Yeah.
I mean, not a burn. That's I wouldn't use that word.
It's got that coolness.
Yeah.
That cooling effect.
But in a very good way. Like super mellow already.
Cools your mouth and warms your chest, kind of.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's nice.
What's really impressed me is the mouthfeel on it, how it feels like honey.
It does.
And I've made a couple of other like kind of short month batches that I've used in cooking that had a really thin mouthfeel, and this one has always had a really nice one. And I followed the advice of another podcast. Anybody that's interested in mead making or wine making, gotmead.com was where I did most of my reading in their forums.
Gotmead.com is also a podcast?
They have a podcast as well.
Okay, Gotmead.
And they're so laborious. They're like 2 hours long.
Oh, yeah.
And
we've gone up there with some of these.
Well, and like the point is, like a lot of them. So there's a series that this guy Ryan Carlson did, who's really active on the forum, about step by step kind of what you should do, and I listened to that. And one of his pieces of advice was, when it's done fermenting, to leave your gross yeast, your all your dormant yeast in there and stir it every day for a month.
Okay.
And that's what I did. And
You
that's,
did do that.
That's what I did with this one.
Yeah.
And that's what's supposed to give it, that yeast starts to shed its body, and that's what gives the wine more body. And so I did that with this, and that's why it has like that kind of coat your tongue kind of feel to it.
Well, kudos.
Thank you. Yeah.
Don't stop.
Yeah, I mean, I really, like, I don't like wine. I've had a few meads that, like most wines, I'm just like, meh, it's okay.
Yeah.
But, and that's why I bottle them in small bottles, so I don't have to drink a bottle of wine.
Right.
I'm reusing 8-ounce, we'll say a certain soda bottle that comes in a glass bottle, and just cleaning them and capping them, so I can just have a glass or split a glass with somebody.
It's good though. It would go very well with the Meyer lemon.
Yeah.
That interests me.
And the Meyer lemon one, right now it's really lemon forward. I'm gonna let it age. I'm gonna let it bulk age. I'm not gonna age it in bottles. I'm gonna age it in a jug and see how it mellows. And if it needs it, I'll throw a little bit more honey and water into it and bring the tartness down bring the tartness down and sweetness up a little bit.
Man, yeah. This is so. Would you attribute like the quality of the honey, like a big part of it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And so he's in Austin.
Yes.
Cool.
In Austin and surrounding.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I said, like, you know, at Hillside we try to do a lot of local stuff. All of our proteins are local, and then a good portion of our produce is local.
Nice.
But when you're open from 9 to 10, 9 to 11, 7 days a week, it's hard for them to keep up with what I need. So when things are popping off like kale and chard and stuff like that right now, it's almost exclusively, you know, local. And then when those things die off, we have to kind of supplement from, you know, a produce purveyor.
Right.
But for the most part, you know, we're really about local, and we're doing everything we can. And you know, it's something I'm really into. Like I was talking about, like grocery shopping is the same way. And it has nothing to do with, not to be, kind of put that on a back burner in my mind, it's sustainability, organic, or whatever. It's more about relationships and community, local economy.
Yeah, there's a lot to, I mean, it's a good place to be when you know everybody that you're getting your stuff from.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's more about speaking with my money, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
Now, the two happen to go hand in hand. A lot of times, there's a lot of almost all of the local farms are sustainable or organic or something like that, and that's all well and good. But I'd rather just like give you my money and buy the product and eat the product, and so because you know, I've gotten to know a lot of them. Like, you know, Patty at Bastrop Cattle Company has invited me and the kids to come out and
that's awesome.
Check it out, and you know, I just know them. I know their kids. I know their family. I know, you know, their circle of friends.
Right.
You know, acquainted with all of that, and have a pretty good broad prospect of what do you call it? Like a broad view of their life and what they do and what kind of people they are, and you know, you don't get that.
Well, you don't get that right now. This day and age, we're starting to see it again, but like that's
for sure.
That's once upon a time the way it was.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like you have a stubbornness to, you don't want to, you know, get involved with, you know, just going and grabbing something off the supermarket shelf, and you know, it came from you know, oblivion, we don't know where. Yeah. No, there's a lot to be said for, you know, going and meeting the rancher's kids or whatever it is.
Right.
I mean, that's makes life, it's overall happiness, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, food is damn near everything. I mean, without it, we're not going very far.
Yeah, for sure. So. And you know, if, like I said, if there was something more like that in kind of my neighborhood or in the North Austin area, I would totally
Right.
be down for it. I can't load the kids in the car and drive down I-35 on a day that I don't have to drive down I-35 to go to, some of the really cool places on the east side are, like Salt and Thyme. I can't really stop by there a whole lot.
Yeah.
Any of that stuff. So I have a really hard time like getting out and around.
Well, it's a very congested. I mean, it's
Yeah.
It's a whole, fiasco trying to go run a couple errands.
Yeah.
I mean, it can just running one of them. I mean, just going to Salt and Thyme can consume, much more time than you're anticipating.
Yeah, and I lived central Austin, North Austin since I moved here for the last 10 or 12 years.
You like that area? Is it just?
I just kind of got there and stayed there. Culinary school was up there.
So you mentioned Le Cordon Bleu.
Yeah.
What year was that? No, I don't. I mean, I don't
2009, 2008.
So before they were still going with classes after that.
Yeah.
They
It
closed.
was still TCA when I started, and about 3/4 of the way through that's when they did the whole name change, and it was Texas. It was Le Cordon Bleu School. It was called Texas Culinary Academy, and then they changed it to Le Cordon Bleu College of Culinary Arts in Austin or something like that.
So there's been quite a few people who've gone to Le Cordon Bleu who've come on here, which is surprising. I didn't actually realize everybody had gone there. So do you keep up with anybody from there, or have you maintained relationships with guys currently or gals?
I have one friend that he's from West Texas, like I am.
Yeah.
And he was a good kid. He was 18. I was 26 or 27, and he was straight out of high school. And I'd already been working, for a while, and he had that West Texas work ethic, and just was like, you could tell he was brought up right.
Yeah.
And came in the first day in a lab, hustled, knew what he was talking about, even though we'd only been through like the sitting classes, and like kind of knew his way around the kitchen just naturally. His name is Rusty Robertson, and he is in Seattle now, and I keep up with him. Other than that, not really.
Yeah.
But like we were saying before we started, I'm not too present on social media.
Yeah.
I get my jabs in the weeds occasionally.
Yes, I know.
But that all, again, that...
Well, in the weeds, I hop back on social media because of the Austin All Day podcast, and it's very good for, in the weeds especially. Like, shout out to Casey with In the Weeds, and he's gotten the new app called Seasoned, and I actually ran into him at this. I guess he was helping open this South Austin beer garden. Yeah, and but that's such a useful.
Oh,
tool.
yeah, for sure.
If you need people to work, you throw it out on there.
Absolutely, man. And I mean, that's how we got we needed a front of house manager, and I put out an ad during South by Luke, who we were talking about. He wasn't feeling good, needed to call in. And I was like, all right, cool. I had staff. I'll do dishes, whatever.
So useful.
And I put out but I got a little nervous because it was first day of music. It was that Monday.
Right.
First day of music, and I got a little nervous that we were going to be busy, so I threw something out on In the Weeds, and this lady, Natalie, was like, "You still need a dishwasher?" And I was like, "Yeah." She came in, and we got to talking, and she was front of house, bartender, server, manager. Yeah. And I was like, "Well, I think we're hiring front." And she hustled. She was really good, Right. I was, we might be hiring. Let me check with Thorne. Let me get your information. And turns out we needed a manager, and she came on, and she's been awesome since then. She's been a real ray of sunshine,
all
actually.
Stemmed from In the Weeds.
Yeah, and that came from In the Weeds. That came from her replying to a dishwasher ad that I had.
There you
and
go.
She just happened to be looking for a front of house job, and we just happened to be hiring.
There you go. There's a testimonial.
Yeah, I love it.
She's still over there?
Yeah. She's
Manager, you said?
she's
now?
a manager. Yeah.
So that's
she's
awesome.
one of our assistant managers.
Yeah, you can't paint a better picture of how the whole idea of In the Weeds and now the app. I know he's trying to transition it more to like an app called Seasoned.
Yeah.
But plenty of people are still using the Facebook. But, I wanted to touch base about Le Cordon Bleu real quick. And, the reason I asked if you're keeping up with people from there is I've had people listen in on here who've listened to people. Oh, I went to school with him.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy, Tyler, who has a place called Gastronomical.
Yeah.
And Rick is at Michelada. And they, I guess, both went to school with the Chef Josie from the first episode.
Oh yeah.
And I'm open for people, even if somebody hears this and they've gone to school with you, even reconnecting here. It's funny. Rick told me a story about him and Tyler, and they got to get on here and tell it because I'm not giving it away, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But they all there's so many people that came from that Le Cordon Bleu. It's really nice to know that it did so much good.
I mean, I had a pretty good circle of friends off of there.
Yeah.
While I was at school, and it's just kind of one of those things. I always make the joke with one of the guys that he worked at Hillside before and came to Eden, and we worked shoulder to shoulder for the last 7 years that I've been working with. Sonia and Hillside and Eden and all that. 6 years, 6.5. But we've been shoulder to shoulder the whole time. And, I always make the joke when one of us quits, we're not friends anymore, right? Because just shit, life moves on, man.
Right.
And the like I said, the one guy, and I mean, by I mean keep in touch. We text each other once, birthday, something like that.
Hey, that's all you need.
Yeah, for sure.
Fill in the space in between later.
Yeah. And or when something major is happening or whatever, but yeah, I made a lot of good friends in that time.
Yeah, cool.
That we would go to bars or do shit outside of school,
Yeah.
So
you've got the kids now. You're at Hillside. You got like plans. I mean, the mead's cool. I think you should keep rolling with this because it's very good. I'm gonna have to dip my toes into trying some more meads now.
Yeah. I do too, man. Because it's like I said, it's not really something I took an interest in before I started making it.
Well, as soon as Joseph, Kendra started talking about it, and then Dylan, when she was all excited that you were coming on, because I think I mentioned that somewhere at some time. I got to tell her that you came on here, but she'll be excited.
Yeah, I have like 20 of these. So
she high heeled it to Oregon. So don't forget about that.
Okay,
but it's interesting.
Yeah.
But do you have plans? Like, do you have plans with the meat, or do you have any other plans for the future? I mean, you got kids to think about. So
not at the moment, man. I mean, if I had discovered this before. There's a couple of meaderies here in Austin, if I remember correctly. One of them being the one that sticks out is Meridian Hive mead, and they sell the H-E-B in Central Market and Whole Foods and all that. If I had found this one in my 20s, I might have dropped everything and gone into it.
So it's really interests you.
Yeah, it really does. The science behind it. I've always been like kind of a nerd for things that are really technical.
Yeah.
And there seems to be like a lot of technical stuff going on that if I would like to be able to explore on a grander basis than reading forums on the internet.
Right.
Though that's been extremely helpful, and I don't think I could have done it.
Well, forums on the internet. I'm looking at I've got the Art of Fermentation here.
Yeah.
So, and
is
I
that
asked this.
Is that the Noma guide?
There it is.
Oh, okay.
I've got.
No, okay.
I I asked this, and I think I might start asking because there's a couple questions I just want to know. Where do
Right.
you eat? Because that we can get some good places to go eat. Do you have any books or cookbooks that you'd recommend, or is it forums online?
So on the fermentation, of course, the Noma Guide to Fermentation that blew up last year.
Okay.
It's a really good book. It's a really good book for if you're not necessarily like if you're not a chef. It's really straightforward and simple.
Sure.
And actually, I started making vinegars, and then I started making my own wine for the vinegars, and then I started making my own wine.
Right.
Right, kind of all in a cluster.
Right.
Because I got into the idea of making wine at home, though I don't drink wine and my wife doesn't drink, but for some reason.
It sounds like the way that you like to know what's going on with the restaurant at home, and you kind of retain that kind of personality at home.
Yeah.
Sounds like maybe you like to go all in with certain things, and that's maybe why you're making wine and you don't even drink it usually.
Yeah, and like the more I read about it, the more kind of fascinating it got. And then I started browsing Noma and decided to, since I didn't have a reason to make wine, maybe I'll make wine so that I can go the next step and make vinegar.
Right.
Which I have a mead vinegar at the house that I've neglected. I started it during South by, so to be fair, it's been really busy and I haven't.
Yeah.
But I neglected it and I let it go too far and it's super sour. So I just need to back it up with a little bit of honey.
Okay.
But it's good.
Yeah.
It's clean, Yeah. I might back it up with maybe a little bit of mead because once I seal it, then it won't continue to become vinegar. But yeah, that's kind of was like my next step in doing it was like, I'm not going to drink this wine, at least not gallons of it.
Right.
And I'm not going to store it forever. I have plans to like give it away.
Yeah.
A 5-gallon batch is like $2 a bottle. So for a wine bottle, not this.
Right. Okay.
A 5-gallon batch makes something like 30 wine bottles.
It's quite a bit.
And it's give it away to people, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it tastes good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to give it away. I'll buy a bottle from you.
Well, and that's the thing is, I can't sell it because I don't have a licensed winery license.
Well, I could turn some people onto it here. Definitely. I mean, we've had some traffic come through here, and everybody seems to have a taste for alcohol.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm looking at this.
But yes, books.
Go ahead. Books.
My culinary school
Yeah.
cookbooks have been the most useful.
Oh, the Le Cordon Bleu ones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Professional Chef and the I didn't get the Harold McGee one on cooking. Those have been at least the most useful.
Did the
for
Harold
me.
McGee, was that a culinary school?
That
book?
I think that was a CIA
Okay.
book. That.
Man, I've got those books laying around here somewhere.
Yeah.
I gotta find those.
But it's just like this. I'm not a creative type. I'm a technical person, so a lot of it has to do.
I think you think that, but you created this.
I mean, but yeah. But that's the thing is I use the technical aspects. I know, and I make this joke with the owners of Hillside a lot whenever I write a menu. I don't taste it. I don't sit down and eat it. I don't eat it all together. I just kind of know, like, oh, yeah, that's going to go great with that, and this is going to go good with that, and we'll put it together. And, like, it's not a creative vision to me. It's just that, like, these things work. Mm-hmm. If I put these gears together, the machine runs.
I see.
Done.
Yeah.
And because I'm very numbers heavy and just, like, technically heavy.
Sure.
And so, numbers can make a work of art as well, but it's just not a visual artist. I'm not, I have a pretty good palette, but I don't go by feelings. I go by what I know to be true.
Yeah.
And one of those books is culinary artistry.
Okay.
And it's just a book of what pairs well with what.
That sounds like a cool book.
And so, like, a lot of the things that I've used.
I mean, down to like herbs. And
Yeah, definitely.
everything, the whole gamut.
It's almost, yeah. It's a book about this thick, and that's pretty much it's about menu writing and food pairing,
Cool.
ingredient pairing.
Nice.
And so, a lot of that has become second nature. If I'm going to do something with pork, I know I have like this grip of ingredients that works really well with that.
Yeah.
And then the chain goes on with that grip of ingredients. This goes well over here, and and so rosemary and cantaloupe go really well together. Rosemary and pork go really well together. So something like just how do I make that work? How do I make that into a thing that's going to be good? So that's kind of how it's kind of a string of things that go well together, and then how do I pull it together to make it a thing?
Tie them all into each other.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are cases where maybe things don't work, but like at the end of the day, you end up tasting things, and I mean.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, there are like the fundamentals. I think what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Like I can put out like I do tasters whenever we do a menu. I'll do a couple of plates of everything for the owners to taste, and because look, like if I wanted to cook it for myself, I can do that at home, and that's fine. Like I'm here to do business and create a dish that, from my experience in Hillside, what the guests at Hillside want, and so I don't cook things that I want to eat necessarily.
Yeah.
I cook things that I think that they want. Yeah.
Trying to make people happy.
Yeah.
And what do you
and also trying to walk that fine line of doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then, but also, they have to buy it. They have to want it.
Yeah.
And I want them to be happy with it.
Sure.
So,
what do you have anything that we might see on the menu flip here that I don't know if you can give away?
Yeah, I definitely can. We've got we're gonna replace our really popular fish dish with a shrimp and pasta, real straightforward.
Okay.
Cream sauce, tomato. Looks nice on a plate. We're using U10 shrimp, which is 10 per pound, so they're really big.
Okay.
And we're roasting them in salt, and they're coming out really nice and juicy. So that's something I'm as far as flavor goes, I think that pulled together really nicely.
Nice.
And then I'm doing a Coco Bon Blanc.
Okay.
Which I actually developed at my house with a mead, with a young,
okay,
with a straight out of the fermenter mead. That I might sneak a little bit in the restaurant and blend. But and that came out really nice. So it's just a white wine, braised chicken legs, thighs, and it came out really nice. It's got a little bit of honey, a little bit of that honey in the sauce, and
nice, yeah.
And it looks on a plate like you're gonna hate yourself. That it's gonna be heavy and you're gonna sweat, but it really has a nice light flavor to it.
Cool. I know. Did you say you had to be out of here by 11?
Are
we good right now?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got maybe another 30, 45
Oh,
minutes.
okay, cool.
I was just making sure that text wasn't a
all good.
restaurant, like, come now.
For some reason, I was remembering 11. We're good then.
Yeah. So, yeah, and those two dishes, those are my two big changes, really. Cool. Like I said, the chicken's gonna stay pretty much the same. It's grains, barley and farro, and then some vegetables mixed in. That'll probably stay. We'll just change the vegetables a little bit for the summertime. Burger stays. We're introducing a veggie burger.
Okay. What are you gonna?
House-made veggie burger. So
what's the main ingredients in there?
It's black beans and
Okay.
Arborio risotto rice.
Nice.
So black beans, rice, a couple, 2-3 beets.
Okay, you definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
And it comes out like a really beautiful color, and it kind of brings it earthiness to it.
Yeah.
Carrot, onion, and mushroom. That's pretty much it. A little bit of
those
garlic.
are good. Those are good.
It's good. It's good. I'm not one for. I don't do vegetarian, vegan
Oh, not at
stuff.
all?
You know, no.
I did for a long time. So when I always get intrigued when you tell me like ingredients for a veggie burger, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
And I'll still eat it.
Yeah.
I'll still eat
For
it.
sure. It's just never been something that I. It's not a diet that I followed. It's not something I care to cook. It's really kind of when especially when veganism like kind of first really came forward, which is right about the time I moved here, about 2006, 2007. Things like started popping off with not being vegetarian is not good enough. We're going to be vegan now, and like I get it, but it's just never something that interests me. It's always something that's intimidated me because of like weird binders that I'm sure are derived from some sort of natural place. But
You mean to make like a faux meat?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And like the idea of making of a meat that or a vegetable that's supposed to taste like a meat
Yeah, I understand.
is really weird to
Yeah.
me. Like that, the whole concept of that.
Have you
like,
seen this Impossible Burger?
Yeah, well, that's what started this whole conversation.
Yeah.
With the ownership.
Oh,
And-
they
and-
wanted that on there?
Yeah, so they brought it
Wow.
up, and I was like, I would much rather give me a shot to make something
Yeah.
that we can be happy with.
Yeah.
I was not necessarily dead set against it, but I wasn't a fan of it either.
Have you tried that Impossible Burger?
I have.
And what are your thoughts?
I was not impressed totally.
What did it taste like? Air quotes meat. Because if I eat a veggie burger, I'm eating a veggie burger.
And the thing about that, at least in my understanding, I read about it for about an hour or so after they kind of introduced it, and as my understanding, it's not necessarily supposed to taste like meat, but it looks like meat, right? Because it has the fake blood thing going on for it.
Right.
And
I didn't. Yeah. Okay, that's new to me.
so they're deriving hemoglobin from soy, which is hemoglobin makes your blood red, right? And that's why dark meat's dark meat. And so they're getting it, but they're getting it from soy, which is naturally present in soy, and they're reintroducing it concentrated into the burger patty, so it has that red color.
Yeah.
And it looks like meat. But I don't think the goal is necessarily for it to taste like meat. I think it's supposed to kind of trick your mind into thinking like it tastes like meat.
Well, when you said this is where that came from, ownership maybe wanted to put that on there, and you said, let me go with, I like the fact that you steered directly towards let's make like a house-made veggie burger, because it's not rocket science for starters, and I'm sure what the ingredients you named off will be delicious. And also, like the big like thing that's deterring me from any Impossible kind of stuff is like I saw where it's going to be like on the Burger King menu very quickly,
and I just saw that same thing.
And that whole thing is, I guess I'd rather see it somewhere else besides Burger King.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I don't go through Burger King very often, but
I don't know. I would guess that it probably belongs at Burger King because their regular burgers are pretty much soy and hoof meat. So I mean, like I don't know. I've never been a fan of what's it called, tofurkeys, and when I was living here, I had some roommates that went from, I watched them go from like eating meat to going vegetarian, and very quickly after that going vegan.
But it all had to do. They were all eating like a soy nugget.
Right, and they're eating like fake chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
It's
And
made of
so,
soy.
what is it that bothers you about that? Is it just the fact that, like, if you want to eat a chicken nugget, then just eat one?
If you want to eat vegetables, and there's plenty of ways to get protein. And
Sure.
and yeah, I just don't understand the imitation of meat.
I think if I had a thought, well, I was a vegetarian for a long time.
Yeah.
I was a vegan for a short time, and that was weird. But I think what it is, I mean, I grew up going through the drive-through at McDonald's.
Right.
Whatever it was, 4-piece nuggets on the regular with my mother when I was a child, and then I grew up, eating whatever. So, like, if you say, okay, vegetarian's a new thing, and give it a shot, if you want to eat vegetables, it's like you always feel like you're missing something.
Yeah.
So if you throw that pretend protein, it's like, oh, I feel satisfied, and I didn't go off the deep end and eat my
right. And that's
meat.
like the thing with the Impossible Burger and the blood.
Right.
Is that it's like you're tricking your mind into not necessarily that I'm eating meat, but it looks like it.
Right.
And so it therefore tastes like it.
There's also people who don't believe that meat is healthy, but I think it's not necessarily that meat itself is not healthy. I think it's everything that it can be consumed with. When you throw a burger on a bun, a refined bun,
right,
and add whatever the sugary tomato sauce or ketchup and all this stuff, then it becomes not healthy.
Yeah, and we were talking about the whole sense of community and having the butcher shop and the baker and over here, and it's only been in the past century that meat has not been like a luxury item, and I got no issue if you want to not eat meat.
Yeah,
personally, I would be okay with like just simple moderation.
Sure. Well, that's what my approach now.
Yeah.
I definitely believe that you get certain nutrients from meat.
Sure.
And that's just the way it's going to be. I mean, vitamin B12 is the number one thing that, if you're a vegan or whatever it is, that you have to take that because you're not getting it any other way unless you consume meat. So there you go. Like, we need to consume meat. Moderation would be the key.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Impossible Burger may be great. In my mind, they went to Burger King, so I'm already like drawn an X through my mind is just like, not for me. But I love that you went with the beet burger.
Well, we do. I mean, we do
black beans and all that.
We do 99% of everything is in house,
and then you can retain these relationships also with the produce company, all the vegetables going into it.
We do 99% of our stuff in house, and I would like for it to stay that way as much as possible.
Do you guys have a commissary kitchen there?
Nope.
Wow. So you guys are hustling.
Yep.
Your kitchen is not big.
No.
It's not, it's like a small, medium. It's not even, it's pretty small.
It's pretty small.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of it has to do with the coolers. All the coolers that we have in there. We don't have a walk-in or anything like that. Yeah.
All right.
So, everything's like small batch because we can't store a bunch of stuff.
Right.
It's enough to get through like a day and a half.
Sure.
And so it's a constant turnover of prep every day.
When you tell me that just makes me want to go eat there.
Yeah.
That's natural, I think.
And that's what I mean. That's part of what makes it kind of not so easy to run. Is there's always a prep list. As long as your leg, there's always orders to be made, and it's always 5 pounds of this and 10 pounds of that, maybe 20 pounds of something like steak. And it's a constant turnover of food from the provider to us to the customer and back again. Do
you guys practice any sort of composting right now?
Oh yeah. We're doing grub tubs.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Man, the grub tub guys, they popped up real quick there.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that's great.
And they didn't know what they were in for when they came to us.
Okay.
Because like today I'll have one of their 7-gallon buckets. At the end of today we'll have one full. It's just crushed eggshells.
Okay.
Like we're gonna go through 3 or 4 cases of eggshells.
What kind of eggs do you guys get? Or is it
So we get our eggs from several different places. Happy Chick Farm.
okay?
They were our sole provider for a while, and they've gotten a bit bigger, and they're selling at Whole Foods and Central Market and
All right.
stuff like that. So I'm all for it. Don't cut $3 off a case, to sell it to me. Sell it retail for more. Go do that. That's
Yeah.
cool. So we're getting a couple now. We're getting a couple cases a week from them. Ringer Family Farm, which is up north in the Waco area. And then Oma and Opa, they're out in Fredericksburg. They're giving us a couple, 2-3 cases.
Cool.
And then there's a new one that just cold called me the other day that I might start getting a couple, 2-3 eggs for. So
Nice.
So yeah, we go.
It's all local.
Yeah, all the eggs for sure.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to keep those things that don't rotate off the menu, or steaks, or eggs, or chicken. All of that stuff comes from. I can tell you where it comes from. I can almost give you an address.
Right.
And I've met, or at least spoken to extensively on the phone with most of them.
Cool.
So, yeah. So that's my that's the thing that I can control on a constant basis. If Boggy Creek or somebody's not yielding enough, I can't control how much produce I can get in from local produce providers, growers.
Right.
But meats and proteins and eggs and things are slightly different. They're always on production. They're always, breeding, growing, harvesting.
Sure.
With very, very little, with the occasionally eggs, but with very little. There's no seasonality necessarily to it.
Right.
So those are the things I concentrate on the most, and then kind of branch out from there, as far as locally grown stuff is.
Cool. Well, Hillside Pharmacy is, it's right there on 11th Street.
Yeah.
You're there all the time. Your wife is there all the time.
When I'm not there, she's there.
You guys should totally come back on here together, or her solo, whatever. But
Yeah.
I think it would be an interesting conversation to have you guys both on here. You're doing this mead, so
Yeah. Well,
interested in the Meyer Lemon batch.
yeah, I'm gonna pull some of that back, and I this first I did 2 1-gallon batches.
That's this.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
And it gave me about 20 of these bottles, these 8-ounce, 6-ounce bottles. This is actually a 6-ounce.
I think this is a good bottle size.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It works really well, especially since she doesn't drink at all, and I don't.
Not at all.
Don't drink
Too much.
at all, really.
Yeah.
Maybe a shift beer 3 times a week.
Sure.
I don't keep it around the house or none of that.
Yeah.
Sit there and drink in my house with my kids running around or whatever.
Right.
So it's like
I can
there's
relate.
there's just no need for it.
I can relate.
So we just kind of grew out of that.
Sure.
And are doing something different. But
Yeah.
but yeah, like the little 8-ounce one. That was a 3-ounce pour that we each had.
Yeah.
So that's a couple 4-ounce glasses.
Good taste.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out,
Yeah,
especially with it being just kind of read some stuff and do it. So
Well, tell me when I should open that one.
give it if you give it. This is now 2 months old. 2.5. So give it till about August. Give it about 3 months.
Yeah.
And taste it again and see if you can remember a difference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll see. Right now, I get the honey is very present.
Yeah.
And like I said, not like this huge alcohol punch, but like nice and smooth and warming. And
This bottle seems like it was a little bit smoother than last night's bottle.
okay. Well,
But
maybe that's because it's 10 in the morning.
Oh, yeah, true. Maybe because I've been tasting it off and on, and I tasted it when it was in a jug.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe I'm just developing.
Well, yeah, no, totally.
flavor for it,
You
but-
could be developing a flavor for it, or
Yeah.
I think that's probably but out of the gate, this is very good. So
Oh, thank you.
yeah, definitely. But you're welcome to come back here.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be glad to.
Anybody you know that you'd like to bring back on, please
yeah,
do.
Yeah, I'll let some people know.
Yeah.
Have them contact you.
But thank you for coming all the way out here.
Yeah.
And I know you're going to
man.
work after this. So am I. But
Yeah.
whatever. It is what it is.
I got shit to do.
Got shit to do. But man, thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything's been good. I appreciate you coming.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.